Good evening. Welcome to our spring concert. We are so excited to share our music. Our theme is folk songs from around the world, just kind of inspired by the Olympics we just watched. And folk music is just so much fun to play. We hope that you enjoy the songs. Just like to remind you to silence your cell phones before we start. Also, I need to remind my students, because I forgot to tell them today, I'm collecting your folders. So at the end of your concert, outside the band room, 7th and 8th graders, there's 2 boxes labeled with your grade. Please put your folders in there, and we'll sort them out when we get back to school. 6th grade, your box is in front of the dance studio. So please remember to put your folders in there so we don't lose them between home and here and spring break, wherever we're going. All right. We have student speakers who will be introducing our pieces. So Sasha Prager and Fiona Cohn are going to introduce our first piece to you, performed by our 6th grade orchestra.
Our concert begins with 2 Ukrainian folk songs arranged by Sandra Dakow, whose grandfather came to this country from Ukraine in 1911. Soldiers March depicts soldiers passing by and riding past the distance. The tune begins with a technique called kolenyo, where we tap the sticks of our bows with our strings. The second tune is called Kolomeka, which gives each instrument section a chance to play the staccato melody. Thank you for helping us perform these 2 songs in the set with no applause in between.
arranged by Jack Boland, is a traditional Scottish melody with lyrics from a poem written by Robert Burns in 1791 entitled "Ye Banks and Braes, O Bonny Doon." While walking along the beautiful Doon River in Scotland, the speaker finds comfort for a broken heart in the beauty of nature.
We have worked expressively on playing with dynamic, smooth slurs, and careful counting on the independent parts in the second half of the piece.
as a part of this solo group. Everyone joins in and play the tune and the tag at the end.
energetic fiddle-style themes with lyrical counter-melodies.
We have worked on many string techniques and skills in this piece, such as double stops, slurs, tuning fifth intervals, string crossings, staccato, détaché, bow strokes. This is for the melody being passed around the different sections of the orchestra.
national anthem. The song is often performed at cultural events as a symbol of Korean identity and unity.
The lyrics express themes of longing, separation, sorrow, love, and resilience. The melody is based on the pentatonic scale and features legato, dotted quarter note rhythms with unequal bow distribution in 3/4 time.
Adventure was composed by Robert Sheldon using many characteristics of the Swahili style of African music. The melody is based on a pentatonic scale and uses a call and response technique. You will hear a complex syncopated rhythms featuring Bakers Gavin, Jackson, Noah, and Jacqueline on percussion.
recognize 4 very hardworking, dedicated orchestra members who are part of this year's SDMEA Middle School All-State Orchestra. They were selected from 220 recorded auditions submitted from 28 schools in South Dakota. So representing Mickelson at this year's All-State Orchestra were, I'm just going to have them come on in the front, Caroline Weaver, Finnegan Cook on bass, and Lydia Ellsworth on cello, and then on viola, Blythe Jones. So let's give them a round of applause for all of them. The audition music for next year's middle school All-State will come out in May. So students have the summer to prepare that music. So I hope to have many more of our wonderful orchestra students joining these 4 next year. String ensemble is getting ready, so forward to that. Mr. Bakken was supposed to come and play cello with us, but unfortunately he is sick. But when I told him we were doing Cello Zole, he just practically jumped out of his seat and he said, cello's only changed my life in 8th grade, and you know how Mr. Bakken is. And so I'm really bummed he can't be here tonight to join our fabulous string ensemble cello section, but I think they hold their own pretty well without him, actually. And I will let our student speakers introduce, Peyton Woolridge and Allie introduce string ensemble.
String ensembles working on music that features each instrument and the orchestra. Come back in the spring to hear our viola and bass solo songs. Tonight we celebrate the cello section with Cellos OA. This piece features virtuoso string techniques like glissandos, harmonics, shifting to higher position, chords, percussion sounds, and left-hand pizzicato.
Our second piece, Fiddles on Fire, features, you guessed it, violins.
To save time and make this keep running efficiently, if you could, students, I know you're finding your spots and it's kind of hectic, but if you could keep quiet while I run through my little speech. I really want to thank my team at Mickelson. Having music teachers that you can just say anything to, you can share your love of the students. We share all of these band and choir people constantly. They're back and forth. We tag team concerts, support each other. I could not say enough good about Mr. Sokup and Mrs. Holt, who is playing piano for us today, helping us in just another way. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I also want to thank my husband, Dave Schulte, who's recording video tonight, and my college student children, Rachel and Joe, who helped tune. Thank you to our Brookings High School students who also came to help with tuning. You are so appreciated. And Mrs. Hummel is here tonight from our orchestra staff. I couldn't do this alone, so thank you. I'd like to also thank Kylie Kramer and Aaron Toronto, who rode the bus all morning with our students back and forth to the PAC for rehearsals. And I want to thank Mr. Christie for being here and supporting us, and all the parent volunteers who are with the students, just kind of directing traffic and making sure everybody knows what they're doing. I am so indebted to you. Jennifer Anderson, Wendy Vaughn, Katie Schwing, and Greg Mickna. Thank you. Also, the bass parents who showed up on a beautiful Sunday afternoon when there's probably a million other things they could have been doing other than hauling basses. So thank you to those dedicated bass parents to transport the instruments. Thank you to our Bobcat Orchestra boosters, all those parents that support our orchestra program, and all of the parents for your love and support. Students, let's give a shuffle for our parents. Thank you also to the very patient and talented staff here at the Performing Arts Center. We are so blessed to have the opportunity to perform in this beautiful hall. So I'm sure there's people I left out, but I am so grateful to be here. And thank you to the students for putting up with me as I'm learning the ropes here in Brookings for my first year. We've got a couple student speakers who are going to introduce Olaf and the Elf Maiden. Lily Gus and Rocco Morano.
Arranged by Soon P. Newbold. The song tells a story of Olaf on his journey back home after being tricked by an evil elf man named Maxie.
The songs by the orchestra depict Olaf writing his first home after being wounded. In the folk tale, Olaf makes it home to his mother but dies soon after. The picture is how the orchestra fades out at the end.
features a 7-moment suite entitled The Planets. Its composer, Gustavo Holst, was often influenced English folk songs and the beautiful melodies he used.
The main theme of Jupiter is one of the most recognizable melodies in orchestral literature and is often used in films, commercials, celebrations, and hymns.
Boston is a classic American folk song that is often performed as a circle dance or square dance. Each instrument takes a turn playing the lively melody in this arrangement. featuring the mixolydian mode, modulation to a new key, and syncopated energetic rhythms.
We hope you find yourself tapping your foot along and humming the tune as you lead tonight. Thanks so much for coming to our concert.